everyone!
Hey there, beautiful people. Welcome to the show. It's Hump Day Wednesday. Good job. We made it to the mid of the week. Let's make it extra special with good vibes, inspiration, information, and the best company.
I'm Ferdi, Salvador. Glad to be on the show. Always on top with the news that matters most.
I love your jacket, can I just say?
Sweetie. I think it's gonna make an appearance with you again here.
Parang it has my name on it after the show na.
I can feel it. I'm kind of scared. So how was your night?
Oh my goodness. You know that after the show, I always go to Makati because I have other stuff to do.
Yes.
Right? I have another job. So there, every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I always come home super late. So I only get like 4 hours of sleep. So I'm always so tired.
Yes.
Until Wednesday. But that's okay. You won't feel it on the show. I'm always energetic.
No, because we love what we do.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter. Like people, I was at the thing last night and they're like, do you guys sleep? I said, well, yes. They're so confused because they see us on TV daily or several parts of the day on TV. And they're like, we don't understand why you're alive and actually at an event.
Yeah,
so,
especially in the morning, like seeing you on TV with so much energy after a busy previous day, right? It's crazy. But we gotta do what we gotta do.
Because we love what we do.
Exactly. And we got a very informative show for you guys today. Later on, we'll be talking about plant-based food.
I love it.
I think you're gonna love that topic.
I love it.
Are you on a plant-based diet?
No, I'm actually pescatarian.
Okay.
But I dabble with plant-based stuff because, well, you gotta be careful though. I mean, we're gonna be discussing that, I'm sure, later. But I prefer, like, for example, if I'm jonesing for a burger, let's say, or
but there's already a plant-based burger, right?
Exactly. So that's what I gorge on. Like, it's my guilty pleasures.
Okay.
I feel like I'm actually eating a burger.
Like a real burger. But my question for our nutritionist later on the show, I want to ask if it actually has the same amount of protein that you get from real meat.
Or the same amount of calories.
Calories,
That's
yes.
what I want to know.
But I'm more focused on the protein because I'm doing weight training, weight management, and I want to build muscle.
Yes.
Muscle mass. So I need a certain amount of protein daily.
I think you're perfect the way you are.
Oh, thank you. I love you, Ferdi.
Guess what I did last night?
What did you do?
I signed up for Pilates classes on Elevate.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
And because I want to lose this dad bod, see, it's like kind of separated.
Dad bod?
Yeah.
Saan bandang dad bod?
No, I want to have a tito bod again.
A tito bod?
Yeah, from dad bod to tito bod.
May difference ang dad bod and tito bod.
Tito bod.
Alam mo, dapat naglagay tayo ng photo sa LED screen eh. Like a comparison
of my before and after?
Bod. Pwede, yeah.
So I can be beach worthy.
Okay, so when are you starting your Pilates class?
So I think I'm going to start on Monday.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Can I go?
Yes, you can get tortured with me.
Yeah, let's do that. I haven't tried Pilates, so...
But it's really cool.
Okay, so we got a lot of things in store for you guys today for the next hour and a half. And don't forget, we got Coach V joining us again later on in the show. But first, let's give you news that you can use this morning. Let's first check the situation on major roads at this hour. Now, here is the situation along EDSA Quezon Avenue flyover. On the left side of your screens, you're seeing the vehicles heading to Quiapo. Moderate to heavy traffic already building up on that stretch. If you take a look on the opposite lane, the right side, those are the vehicles headed to the Quezon Memorial Circle. Light to moderate traffic on that area as well. Now this time, let's take a look at EDSA White Plains. On the left side are the vehicles going to Shaw Boulevard, light to moderate traffic on that area. Opposite lane, no problem yet as of this hour. We're seeing the vehicles heading to Cubao. Now, the expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing. It's a Wednesday. Vehicles with license plates ending in 5 and 6 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, so heads up to motorists. The temporary restraining order on the no contact apprehension policy, or NCAP, has been partially lifted. The Supreme Court has allowed the policy to be reimposed on major roads, just like EDSA C5 And the MMDA earlier appealed for full lifting of the TRO to prepare for the expected heavy traffic amid the EDSA makeover. The High Court issued the TRO back in 2022 following the petition from various transport groups. The NCAP uses technology such as CCTV cameras to apprehend traffic violators without direct contact. What's the weather going to be like this Wednesday? Anne has today's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Anne.
Thank you so much, Ferdi. Now let's take a sweeping look at today's weather across the country. Today, we got two key weather systems that are influencing the country's conditions. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, or ITCZ, is bringing moisture and unstable weather, particularly affecting Mindanao and Palawan, with increased cloud cover and possible thunderstorms. Now, meanwhile, easterlies are contributing to warmer temperatures and cloud formation for the rest of the country. The ITCZ will trigger scattered rain showers and thunderstorms across Mindanao and Palawan, bringing unstable and moist conditions. Meanwhile, the easterlies will spark similar unsettled weather over eastern Samar, with chances of afternoon thunderstorms. Now, as for Metro Manila and the rest of the country, expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers and thunderstorms, most likely in the late afternoon or evening. Now let's talk about the heat index. The easterlies are pushing temperatures to dangerous levels, with heat index values soaring into extreme territory. Here is the latest heat index forecast from Pag-asa. Dagupan, Pangasinan, and Apari, Cagayan are expected to endure a sweltering 46 degrees Celsius, a level that poses a severe risk for heat exhaustion and stroke. Now, close behind at 45 degrees Celsius is Lawag, Ilocos Norte, also at a dangerous level for heat stress. A heat index of 44 degrees Celsius is expected in these areas: Sinait, Ilocos Sur, Batac, Ilocos Norte, Tugigaraw, Cagayan, Baler, Aurora, San Jose, Occidental Mindoro, Daet, Camarines Norte, Masbate City, and Iloilo City. Areas reaching 43 degrees Celsius include Bacnotan, La Union, Etxague, Isabela, Casiguran, Aurora, Subic Bay, Olongapo, Kamiling, Tarlac, Coron, Palawan, and Cuyo, Palawan. Still dangerous at 42 degrees Celsius, the following areas should remain on high alert: Calayan, Cagayan, Iba, Zambales, Clark, Pampanga, Hacienda Luisita, Tarlac, Sangli Point, Cavite, and Tanawan, Batangas. Now also reaching 42 degrees Celsius, Infanta, Quezon, Alabat, Quezon, Los Baños, Laguna, Calapan, Oriental, Mindoro, Legazpi, Albay, and Virac, Catanduanes. And further south, extreme heat of 42 degrees Celsius is expected in these areas: Pili, Camarines Sur, Rojas, Capiz, Dumangas, Iloilo, Catarman, Northern Samar, Borongan, Eastern Samar, Dipolog, Zamboanga del Norte, Butuan City, Agusan del Norte. Now, with these dangerously high heat levels, please take the following precautions. Avoid staying outside between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Stay hydrated. Drink water, even if you're not thirsty. Wear light, loose, and light-colored clothing. And use umbrellas or wide-brimmed hats if you need to go out. Now let's check on our sea conditions. No gale warnings have been issued at this time. Winds and waves remain light to moderate, but fisher folk and seafarers should still exercise caution. Always stay updated with official marine forecasts before heading out to sea. And that is it for Weather HQ at the moment. Back to you, Ferdi.
Thanks, Anne. It's going to be very, very hot. That weather update is wow. Anyway, so some senators support President Bongbong Marcos's confession that he's open to reconcile with the Duterte camp. Senate President Cheese Escudero sees the president's goodwill is a sign to prioritize national issues over partisanship. But Senator Bato de la Rosa says he finds it difficult to trust PBBM's words. In the debut
I don't know dahil may experience ako sa kanya na ibang ginawa. So, mahirap ako makapag-sabi kung sincere siya o hindi. Sa lalim ng sugat na in-inflict nila sa amin, I think kailangan talaga ng extreme sincerity.
In the debut of his presidential broadcast, President Marcos earlier revealed he is open to make amends with the Dutertes.
Magko-confess ako dito. Lagi nga akong bukas sa ganyan. I'm always open to any approach na alika magtulungan tayo. Diba? Kahit hindi tayo magkasundo sa polisiya, hindi tayo magkasundo. Gawin niyo yung trabaho pero wag na tayong nanggugulo. Wag na natin, tanggalin natin yung gulo.
But lawmakers at the lower house are keeping mum on President Marcos's statement that he's open to reconciling with the Dutertes. House Deputy Majority Leader Janet Garin says this should not get in the way of the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. The Iloilo 1st District Representative says she believes the president and the vice president may patch things up in due time. But for now, Garin says the trial is their obligation to the public. The House Deputy Majority Leader adds the Senate will take charge if the impeachment trial pushes through.
It's actually the best opportunity for the Vice President to defend herself. Kasi sa totoo lang dun sa impeachment trial, kapag naipakita niya sa taong bayan na wala naman talagang basehan yung reklamo sa kanya, then it will be a very good vindication for all these allegations. Because like myself, I can always be good to all the barangay officials and the municipal officials, but that relationship has to end where the interest of my constituents has to prevail. So yun yung balance na kailangan gawin ng gobyerno.
Akbayang topping the midterm polls surprised many, including the party list itself. On Bilyonaryo News channels at the forefront, first nominee Chel Diokno attributes their 2.7 million votes to a good track record and the infusion of young blood into the organization.
One factor is the changing demographic of our voters. Because last elections in 2022, there were only about 11% were from the Gen Zs. But this election, the Gen Zs were over 20%. So that's a big jump from roughly 5 or 6 million voters to times 2 or times 3. But aside from that, I really have to say that we really had message discipline in terms of the campaign.
Diokno also vows not to lose sight of multi-sectoral issues that needs addressing, despite being part of the House prosecution panel in the impeachment trial of Vice President Duterte.
Well, Akbayan was the first to endorse the first impeachment complaint. And the reason is because we have been really asking for accountability. We are for the truth, for justice and accountability. I think I have enough time management skills to do that as well as my legislative work. Yung sobrang pagtaas ng presyo ng bilihin, our problems are crisis in education, unemployment, and the issues in the West Philippine Sea. We should never forget those issues, among others.
The Commission on Elections warned candidates who ran in the recent polls that failure to remove their campaign materials from public places is considered an election offense. Under COMELEC Resolution 11086 and the Fair Elections Act, candidates should have taken down election-related paraphernalia within 5 days after the polls or by May 17. So far, over 64 metric tons of campaign materials, which include posters and banners, have been confiscated in Metro Manila.
Again, wag pong sabihin ng iba, natalo na naman ako eh. Mabuti kung ito yung last na pagtakbo nyo, may tatakbo pa ulit sa susunod eh. Hindi po ba? And therefore, yung mga ginawaan pong kasalanan sa kasalukuyan, pwede pa rin namin pong ituloy yun na kasalanan kahit sa pag nag-file na ng certificates of candidacy sa mga susunod.
The Commission on Elections says the 2025 midterm polls was the fastest in poll history. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia says the canvassing took 3 days, where the winning senators and party list groups were proclaimed immediately.
Pinakamabilis na eleksyon when it comes to everything. When it comes to the sending of the results, gawin ng May 12 na proclaim na mga mayors. Pati po mga konsihal, pati po mga sangguniang bayan. Kinabukasan, ang pinakamatagal Miyerkules ng umaga, proclaim ang lahat ng governors. Hindi niyo po napansin? Pag maaga ang proklamasyon, mabilis ang result, walang patayan, walang nagkikita, walang nagnanakaw ng ballot box. Ito po kasi yung kaunang-unahang pagkakataon din. 3 araw lang po kami nag-canvas ng result. Na dati 3 weeks. Noong 2022 elections, 25 days tayo nag-canvas ng result para sa senador. 25 days. Kami po 3 days lang, the fastest in the history of Philippine election.
But despite the success, the COMELEC is also appealing for additional budget, especially for the 2029 national and local elections, where voters will cast their ballots for the next president and vice president.
Ang problema po namin simula sa budget namin, naalala niyo na, dito po ako yung isa nating pagpupulong. Sabi ko, tinanggalan kami ng 14 billion na budget. So ano po yung effect nun? Ang effect nun, dapat ang bilang ng presinto mo ay ganito kadami, hindi ka makapagpadami ng presinto sapagkat pag dumadami ang presinto, dumadami ang bilang ng mga electoral board. Dumadami ang bilang ng mga gamit, kahit yung makina, ballot box at ilang election paraphernalia. Pag po nagkaganon, mas malaki po ang budget na kailangan.
The Center for People Empowerment in Governance, or CENPEG, has long been chasing down political dynasties in the Philippines. With the recent losses of political titans such as Cynthia Villar and Gwen Garcia in the midterm election, how is the 2028 presidential election shaping up?
One of the major observations of CENPEG post-analysis is that there is no significant shift in the composition of power. The newly elected senators and officials represent a continuation of elite rule. Meaningful reform in governance remains elusive, no? Dahil karamihan ng miyembro ng Kongreso natin hanggang ngayon, no? They are mostly composed of members of political dynasties. So how can you expect them to legislate against their own interests, no?
The recent wins of Liberal tandem Kiko Bam have big implications on the political climate, but traditional politicking still dominates the current election landscape, with massive campaign spending and the use of government aid still being prevalent. For CENPEG, the millennials and Gen Z have a chance of changing the run of politics in the 2028 election, making up 60% of the Philippines' voting population.
The Philippine Coast Guard has monitored 2 Chinese research vessels within the country's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. The vessels remain in the EEZ, particularly along the waters of Rizal, Palawan, and Burgos, Ilocos Norte. According to PCG, the ships have the capacity to conduct deep-sea surveying. Meanwhile, the maritime security and foreign policy experts in Southeast Asia will meet and discuss steps to strengthen rules based on maritime order in the South China Sea.
A post from veteran journalist Ramon Tulfo has once again ignited conversations on national security. Tulfo claims that around 400 Chinese nationals, allegedly illegal aliens, are currently working at Dito Telecommunity. He says these foreigners hold executive positions in the company and could be operating as Chinese spies. They allegedly have access to sensitive national data. Tulfo adds that they entered the country on tourist visas during the administration of former President Rodrigo Duterte under the sponsorship of businessman Dennis Uy. He also claims that some immigration agents are aware of this and are allegedly using these foreigners as so-called milking cows. The Bilyonaryo news channel has reached out to Dito for comment. A representative said the company is still holding internal discussions on the matter. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Immigration says it is taking Tulfo's allegations seriously and is looking into the report.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is leading the push for tighter regulation of vape products to protect the youth. This includes limiting vape flavors to menthol and original tobacco to make it less appealing to the younger generation. 2023 data from the Food and Nutrition Research Institute show that vape users among those aged 10 to 19 have gone up to 40% from only 3.2% in 2018 and 2019. Meantime, Gatchalian is also eyeing the creation of an interagency task force that will analyze the market and enforce concrete policies to fight illegal vape trade.
It turns out power consumption is soaring with the increase in use of artificial intelligence or AI. According to energy management company Schneider Electric's, global power consumption will quadruple in 5 years' time. Faced with this challenge, the Energy Regulatory Commission says they are promoting energy democracy. Part of these efforts is a retail aggregation program where businesses can choose their power provider.
In world news, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio sees the number of visas he has revoked could be in the thousands. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has revoked hundreds of visas across the country, including the status of some lawful permanent residents under a 1952 law. This law allows the deportation of any immigrant whose presence in the country the Secretary of State deems harmful to U.S. foreign policy. Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley questioned Rubio's interpretation of the law, but Rubio simply responded that visa is a privilege and not a right.
A bit of good news in global public health as the World Health Organization adopts an agreement intended to improve preparedness for future pandemics. The legally binding pact aims to ensure that drugs, therapeutics, and vaccines are globally accessible when the next pandemic hits. This comes after 3 years of negotiations since COVID-19 and amid a series of sharp cuts in U.S. foreign funding. Now in sports, teen tennis ace Alex Ayala climbs to a career high, world number 69 in the latest official WTA rankings. This comes as former world number 1 Victoria Azarenka fell 19 spots to 73, and Renata Zarazua slipped 3 notches to 72. Ayala did not earn points in Rome despite a doubles quarterfinals finish with world number 2 Coco Gauff. She is now back in training at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Spain, gearing up for her main draw debut at the French Open.
People's champ Manny Pacquiao hits the ground running in his boxing comeback. The Pac-Man is back at the Wild Card Boxing Gym in Los Angeles. Hitting the mitts with longtime coach Ferdi, Pacquiao recently lost in the senatorial race in the midterm elections, but he is focused on returning to the ring after nearly 4 years out of pro boxing. The sport's only 8th division champion will face Mexican-American Mario Barrios in July for the WBC welterweight title.
The end of an era in Makati's fine dining scene. The master sushi chef of Tsukiji restaurant has passed away. The restaurant announced the death of its esteemed sushi master, Toshiro Okajima, on Monday. Affectionately known as Chef Oka, he led the kitchen for over 2 decades, shaping the restaurant's reputation as one of Asia's finest. The Japanese artisan was known for masterfully curating Tsukiji's menu, sourcing the freshest seafood from Tokyo's Toyosu Fish Market. In a statement, the restaurant paid tribute to Okajima for his contributions, creativity, and warmth he shared with everyone around him. His legacy lives on through the dishes he crafted and the lives that he touched.
In entertainment, Netflix has announced new faces joining the cast for Avatar, the latest Airbender seasons 2 and 3. Among the cast is Filipina actress Dolly De Leon, playing both of Azula's twin advisors, and Fil-Am actor John Briones as the Fire Nation sword master Pianado. Piandao, that's what it is. No release yet for season 2 of the live-action adaptation of the beloved animated series, but insider reports tell us to expect it around early 2026.
Iranian filmmaker Jafar Panahi made a powerful return to the Cannes Film Festival after a 15-year travel ban. Appearing on the red carpet for his new movie, It Was Just an Accident. Panahi, who was previously barred from filmmaking by the Iranian government, last attended Cannes in 2003. He became emotional after the premiere, dedicating the film to banned Iranian filmmakers, especially women fighting for rights. The film tells the story of a man seeking justice against his former torturer. Despite official bans being lifted, Panahi says he still has to work in secret. Palawan was named the world's best island to visit in 2025. Later, we'll speak with Maribel Bunyi, the department head from the provincial government of Palawan, to know how Palawan balances tourism and sustainability. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Eating healthier is easier said than done. I know that for a fact, but it's definitely possible with discipline and guidance. Lifestyle medicine and physician Dr. Dex Macalintal join us via Zoom to answer common questions about plant-based diets. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day, Doc Dex, rather. I got excited.
Yes, it is a beautiful day, Ferdi. And
thank you so much for joining us this morning. So I've got a lot of questions because I'm totally into plant-based meals. Okay, I wouldn't say I've got a plant-based diet, but I like plant-based meals. What are the benefits of plant-based meals or diets?
okay, firstly, mataas sa fiber ang plant-based diet and plant-based meal. Kaya naman gumaganda yung digestion at metabolism natin. And then kung mapapansin din po natin, if we are on the plant-based diet, mas mabilis tayong bumababa yung ating timbang. This is because your fiber that are rich, the fiber that is rich in your diets or in your meals would help you put down your calories. Also, kasama rin ito, mas kokonti po din kasi yung makakain ninyo kasi parang bulky siya sa inyong tiyan. So,
Doc Dex,
yes.
rice is also a plant eh. Paano yun?
Yes.
Kasali ba yung rice, Doc?
Kasali ba yung rice?
I
Kasali
think
din
yes,
yung
but in
rice.
moderation, di ba, Doc?
Definitely. So anything that is too much could be bad for our body. Yes, rice is also a plant, so as sugar. So kaya kinakailangan din nating i-quantify, and i-qualify kung ano nga ba yung po pwede at kung gaano karami. Hindi po pwede makita natin, ay plant naman ito eh. So I'll take this ng sobra-sobra. So right now kasi sa social media, nung nag-rise ngayon social media, yung mga tao naging medyo nawawala yung thinking. Masyado excited yung mga tao na, ay, this is plant-based. Ay, sabi ni Doc Dex, this is blue. Parang ganyan. So, so it doesn't mean na kapag sinabi ng isang creator na, kunyari, I like the color blue.
Yes.
Sasabihin na nung iba, oh, you don't like the color black, you don't like the color yellow. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
So, kaya ganun din po sa plant-based diets. Not because that these foods are plants, it means na unlimited nyo na po pwedeng kainin.
Okay.
Kinakailangan din po, tama rin po ang ating pagpaplano dito. Kasi loaded man sa antioxidants and phytonutrients ang inyong plant-based diet, there are still cons pagdating dito.
I like that Anne said in moderation and then she looked at me.
What? No! No, but you know, the joke, Doc Dex, di ba sabi nila, chocolate naman came from
Plants.
Yes,
chocolate
from cocoa.
plants. So,
Yeah.
plant-based ang
And the milk
chocolate.
came from a cow that only eats plants.
Okay,
Yes.
sige, ganun yung logic, di ba? But now that you mentioned there are cons also, so what are the
Yes.
downsides of plant-based diet, Doc?
Number one, transition is not easy. No, lalo na kapag kayo po ay nasanay sa marami kayo nakakain na red meats, marami kayo nakakain na processed meats. The transition could not be that easy. Number two, baka rin kapag hindi tama yung pagkakaplano, you may be deficient with protein. Remember that protein is essential for building your tissues and repairing your body. Kaya kinakailangan tama po yung pagkakaplano para sapat yung protina na makuha natin dito. And thirdly, hindi po lahat ng plant-based products po pwedeng maging mura or accessible, lalo na kung imported pa din yung bibili nito.
Yes.
Kaya mahalaga ang tamang knowledge at tamang strategy at tamang pagpaplano.
Actually, Doc
if you are
Dex,
going to do that. Yes.
Yeah, Doc Dex, ako sanay na because I'm actually a practicing pescatarian and as I said, teetering towards plant-based.
Plant-based,
But I find it very easy. Like I'm looking at the images a while ago in the screen and I got hungry. But
Yes,
there's
kasi
some...
kasi kung titingnan din natin, ang bilis lang naman yung kung makukuha kung for example nasa province kayo or
Yes.
actually kapag ka nasa Manila, like for example for myself, I live in Mandaluyong for every Wednesday to Saturday. Madali naman kumuha eh. It's just that you have to know your sources. It's just that you have to know how to plan ahead of
and
time.
food prep because it's quite
Yes.
easy. I suggest get a steamer. Like it's inexpensive and steam everything and just douse it with sauces that you can buy in the grocery store. It can actually be budget friendly. But of course, I like once in a while those plant-based sausages. The stuff like that, and they can get expensive.
Sandali lang. Kasi sabi ni Ferdi, budget-friendly. Coming from Ferdi, ano ba yung budget mo? Sandali lang.
I go to
Pero
the palengke.
But that is the question there, Doc Dex, di ba? How feasible and how sustainable is this diet? Kasi when you really look at the prices in the market, di ba? Medyo mahal yung mga gulay talaga.
Yes.
So how feasible and how sustainable is this?
Well, this is feasible and sustainable. No, pero kasi yun nga, hindi naman kasi kinakailan all or nothing. When you say plant-based diet kasi, hindi naman sinasabi gulay na lang kainin mo.
Yeah.
You can also eat occasionally meat, no? Pwede kasi you start with plant forward, pero most of your foods should come from plants. Gulay,
Plant
prutas, whole
forward.
grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes. All of these, just majority of the food that you're gonna take would be coming from plant sources. So
Okay.
totoo lamang po, mas sustainable nga siya kapag hindi nyo pinipilit. Just make it fun, make it masarap, make it familiar. Ginataang gulay, ganyan kasimple.
Oh,
Vegetable kare-kare.
Yeah, even
Mushroom
pasta.
sisig. Even pasta, you can eat pasta.
Like Doc Dex, I make plant-based bolognese sauce.
really?
Patikim naman ako.
Using plant-based meat.
Plant-based, yes, ingredients.
Okay,
We
okay.
can buy it in the grocery store. They're ready. The plant-based giniling. It's relatively affordable.
Okay.
And then you can just buy a pre-packed, yung mga tomatoes, yung pasta sauces. I particularly like Italian.
Okay.
So you just put, your seasonings and then your onions and stuff like that. Voila! Then you've got a plant-based pasta na hindi siya mahal.
Then you've got to
Yes.
invite me over to your place
1,000%.
when you make that. But Doc Dex, I have a question. And Ferdi and I were talking about this earlier off the air. Because I need to eat a certain amount of protein a day kasi I'm building on my muscle mass.
Yes.
So ngayon meron ng mga yung alternatives to real meat, 'di ba? Do they contain the same amount of protein as the real meat? That is the question that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Excellent.
The answer to that question is no. Hindi agad-agad. At you also have to take a look at the label. No, you just check the label kung ano yung nakasulat sa label and you go straight to the protein. But before that, or bukod doon, kinakailangan tingnan nyo rin po kung ano yung nakasulat doon na iba pa nilang ingredient. Lalo yung mga lalo itong mga nauuso nga na mga na mga meat substitutes. Kasi minsan, para maging mas malasa, naglalagay po sila ng mas maraming sodium. So, ang problema dito ay maaari pong tumaas ang sodium intake ninyo, defeating the purpose because your plant-based diet is really geared towards having a healthier you. So, ibig sabihin, kinakailangan contained pa rin po natin ito pong mga nutrients na to, na yung mga sodium low para hindi po tumataas yung inyong blood pressure. Kasi kung ganon, it's better that you just go to the palengke and purchase your tofu, purchase yung munggo, your chickpeas, your nuts, your seeds. Kasi kung budget meal lang ang problema natin, say for example, you get munggo with malunggay, you get your protein and iron in one na eh. Diba? So yun.
Yes. Doc Dex, one question, because, there's two schools of thoughts about, about these prepared vegan or plant-based substitutes, like, like the burger patties and what have you. They're highly processed. How safe or nutritious are they?
Yeah.
Okay. How safe? Number one, we can only surmise, no? And we can only speculate kung safe ba talaga sila. Kasi kinakailangan makita din natin yung label. Sabi nga natin, kung tumataas yung sodium content niyan, these are still processed and you have to consume them sparingly pa din.
Correct.
Ito,
What's an
mga meat
acceptable
substitutes.
percentage, Doc Dex, of sodium in the ingredients?
Yeah.
A
Okay,
percentage.
okay, if you are going to see the percentage kasi sometimes it's not included in the label eh. Pero ang safe dyan dapat nasa mga 10% lang. So meaning hanggang 200 milligrams lang dapat yan.
200 milligrams.
Yes, 200, hanggang 200 milligrams lang dapat yun nasa label because if you are hypertensive, if your blood pressure is a little bit on the far end o yung sa tumataas na, nagbo-borderline na, kapag ganyan, yung inyo pong sodium allowance would be just 2,000 milligrams eh. So,
yes,
kaya,
siya.
yes, kung ganon, titingnan nyo po maigi yung food label. Kasi kung ang sinasabi doon sa food label ay mataas itong sodium content ito, tapos tingnan nyo po per serving, no? So baka maubos natin yung buong pack, tapos 3 servings pala yon. So you multiply it by 3. Diba? So you really have to be mindful when doing this. So I suggest if you want to go plant-based, you start with the palengke.
Yes,
So,
I
dyan
love
muna
it.
kayo pumunta.
Anne,
Yeah, pinaka-basic dapat.
do you go to the palengke?
Basic.
Of course I do.
Fantastic. What about metabolism, Doc? How does this diet affect people's metabolism?
Very nice. No, very nice question, Ferdi. Kasi ang plant-based diet, nakakatulong talaga ito sa metabolismo sapagkat itong mga fiber nga na nakukuha natin, malaki yun na itutulong nito sa metabolism natin. Also, if your food is very, very high in fiber, maaari itong makatulong na bulky siya sa tiyan. Kaya kapag kayo ay kumain, no, say for example, kumain kayo, inuna po din yung inyong mga gulay, no, yung fiber-rich foods, hindi ba siya doon tumataas ang inyong glucose spike? At ito ay nakakatulong sa mga taong diabetiko. At sabi nga rin po sa mga pag-aaral, kapag mataas ang fiber intake natin, nakakatulong din po ito sa inyong mga hypertension, sa inyong mga cholesterol. Kaya metabolically speaking, mas nakakatulong ito sa mga pasyente natin. This one, no, lagi natin sinasabi, nakakatulong ang plant-based diet. Or ako mismo, sa mga pasyente ko, nire-recommend ako talaga ito. At ako mismo yung gumagawa ng plano for them.
Wow. Doc Dex, can anybody just switch to a plant-based diet or kailangan to consult a nutritionist talaga?
Right now, dahil sa dami ng impormasyon nakikita nyo sa internet, I would suggest that you consult a nutritionist para nang sa ganoon ay maging seamless yung transition ninyo. Kasi sabi nga po natin kanina, there are pros to this, but there are also cons to this. Na una nga ay kapag hindi tama ang pagkakaplano, you may be deficient of nutrients. And we know for a fact that nutrients are not just your macros, kasama din po dito yung inyong mga micros or vitamins and minerals. And if you have vitamin and mineral deficiencies, maaari din tayo magkaroon ng problema in the long run. That's why, mas maganda kapag nako-compute po natin ng tama ang inyong mga diet.
Correct. It's all about the computation and read the labels.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us this morning. Lifestyle medicine physician, Dr. Dex Macalintal.
Anytime.
Now we've got more stories for you guys after the break. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Radio personality Tin Gamboa had a lot to get off her chest online after a search for a missing cat in her village took a turn for the worse. On Instagram, Gamboa says her neighbors showed up at her house with barangay officials and even a lawyer in tow. She says her house help refused to let them in despite facing intense pressure.
We also told her, ano bang tinatago nyo dyan? Ba't ayaw nyo kami papasukin? Oh my God, I snapped. Because the nerve. I messaged my friend. He is a counselor in our area. And I'm like, is this okay? Di ba to trespassing? And he was like, yeah, bawal yan. Do not let them in. He goes, sabihin mo pinabarangay nyo na rin sila at hindi kayo pumapayag na pumasok sila sa bahay nyo because what the heck? So yun, they left.
But the incident did not end there, despite her neighbors issuing a reward. Gamboa also says her driver was stopped at their village gate and asked to open their vehicle to search for the missing feline.
Kuya Paul, doing his due diligence, asks, tinitignan niyo ba lahat ng kotse? O amin lang? And the guard goes, Sir, wag na po kayo magalit. Hayaan nyo na lang po ako tignan para masabi ko po sa kanya na wala po dito. So at this point, Kuya Paul is pissed off, right? Because we are being singled out and treated like suspects. Like I am a suspect in a catnapping case. So he let them search our car kasi wala naman talaga kami tinatago, di ba? So now, naiinis na ako kasi it's the Homeowners Association president who told the guards to search our car. So parang ini-indulge pa nila yung bad behavior nitong neighbor namin, di ba? I don't know what to do. I don't want to escalate it. I don't want to lawyer up. That's the last thing I want to do because I don't want drama. But parang they're pushing my buttons. But again, thank you so much for the love and concern. Super appreciate ka from the bottom of my heart.
Alam mo, sayang, because I know Tin. She's an acquaintance of mine. And I messaged her this morning na, Tin, you're on our news this morning. We're going to be talking about those videos that you posted. But crazy, right?
She is fired up.
Kasi naman, they're wrong. I mean, the neighbors are wrong. The barangay officials na sinama and the lawyer, parang wala sila sa lugar, right? Just going there. What is making me wonder is, saan nag-ugat yung suspicion that they were the ones who took the cat?
Yeah.
Because it all started
or are they
from
searching
there.
the other neighbors as
the
well?
The neighbors are searching for their cat.
No, but the other neighbors as well. Are they searching the other neighbors aside from Tin?
Parang I feel like they have singled out sila Tin in that village. So it makes me wonder, why are they suspicious? Why do they think that it was Tin who took the cat? So it's making me wonder.
Well, there was a few months ago, I remember also, I think it was Miss Annabelle Rama and their dog went missing as well. But it didn't go naman this far. I think the dog was returned, fortunately. But, that's unfair, and trying to barge into somebody's house without a permit or a court order, I don't think that's right.
Yes.
How can you feel safe?
Exactly. And also, the car being checked by the security guards when the driver was exiting, and he was the only one being checked. The other cars naman were not being checked. So I don't know, why is that even happening?
And I think the
It's
Homeowners
crazy.
Association president should practice, mediation.
Yeah.
It's just a suggestion. I'm not telling you how to do your job. But I think they should put the two parties together and say, hey, look, how can we fix
And
this?
maybe, the neighbors who own the cat, if they have evidence, do they have photos? Do they have videos that the cat went to Tin's house? If they can present something like that, then, they can have a discussion about this matter. But
Again,
walang evidence.
Definitely. I mean, it's hurtful to miss your fur baby. Yes, we're there, right?
Yeah,
but I think, calmness and proper due diligence is important.
So, of course, we are open to the other side, the neighbors, the villagers, the Homeowners Association, if they want to reach out and air their side of the story.
Yeah, because Tin is fired up.
Yes, I know.
Fired up.
I was taking pictures.
Yeah.
I'll send this to Tin later. But anyway, let's move on.
All right, so trending on social media, users Maki Verga's original post on thread makes rounds on X. He wrote, "Fight me, but Filipino travelers are overdressed When traveling, haha, here's some of the clapbacks to the viral post.
Si Ferdi talaga nagbasa
Okay.
nito. Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Oh my God, may bago na naman tayong national issue, overdressed lang mga anak. Slay, the word is your runway. Anyway, my goodness, ang totoo Pinoy lang ang ganito mag-isip sa kapwa nilang nilang Pinoy at yun ang nakaka-trigger. Truth be told, wala bang ibang, sorry, I couldn't read the last part. It's simple, Tetsuya Makino said. It's simple because one, we don't get to enjoy cold climate fashion here. And two, you don't have people around being judgy about what you're wearing.
You know, I love na ikaw yung nagbasa ng article because I feel like
I've got beef about this.
because I feel like every time you travel, you're always dressed well. And
I
you know
tell
what?
you.
I read an article that when you travel by plane, you need to be dressed well all the time.
Appropriately, at least.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
But always dress well talaga.
I mean, I try to dress as well as I can to represent myself properly.
yeah,
Because one of my biggest pet peeves, especially on a plane, and you're flying on a long haul flight, or even medium, or even let's say go to Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, whatever, and you go on the plane without socks, and you're wearing some, and people walk around on the plane without.
Naka-slippers.
No, some people literally walk around the plane without footwear,
What?
barefoot. Okay.
I have never seen
I
though.
will-
Bakit?
I will not mention who this is because I'm gonna get bashed big time. But I was on a plane from Brazil to Dubai, and this mega Hollywood celebrity, like mega Hollywood
Oh
celebrity.
my God, tell me off air.
I will tell you off
Yeah,
air.
okay.
But was walking around bare feet,
Okay.
going inside the bathroom, and then back to this person's suite, and back into the sheets. I was like, I can't deal.
That is so icky because a lot of people have been walking along that airplane aisle and all
Yeah.
the germs and bacteria, they're there, and then you walk
Thank you,
barefoot
ma'am.
and
Ew. And that's like a major ew. But being also, like for example, traveling to different countries around the world, it's okay naman to represent yourself as well dressed.
I think it's better to be overdressed than underdressed.
Thank you,
is what I
Lord.
always have to remind myself. That's why you always have to dress well. Plus, pag may extra seat dun sa first class, ikaw ang unang o-offeran ng
One
first
only
class
wishes.
seat, diba?
One only wishes.
Would you like to be upgraded? Kasi syempre hindi nila lalapitan yung nakapaa or yung walang socks, right? They'll
Yeah.
really get someone who's dressed well to sit there.
Yes,
if
but
they
you
have
know
extra
what?
space.
And it's important also, and this is a tip for a lot of people because, you know, Filipinos are increasingly traveling. You know, we've
Yeah,
got this
yeah.
wanderlust, you know, in our system now.
Yes.
And please be careful. Aside from dressing, I'd rather address safety than dressing. I mean, dress appropriately, but do not call attention to yourself.
Right.
Like wearing, you know,
Too flashy.
and even
yeah.
watches and jewelry.
Jewelry, yeah.
I won't say which countries because again I'm gonna get bashed. But make sure that when you're traveling, know the tips. Do not wear a fancy watch. You know,
Yes,
wear your digital watch. That's not so loud. Don't wear a lot of jewelry, and don't wear like flashy brands.
Right.
Yeah. So tip.
So
Yeah.
there you go. So it's okay really to dress well, dress comfortably, right? Overdressed better than underdressed. And you know, someone who dresses really well, si Master Hans Kua.
And here we go. Is today going to be your lucky day? Let's find out from Feng Shui Master Hans Kua in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans.
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope for today, Wednesday, May 21. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, minsan, distance truly makes the heart grow fonder. All rose at 6. Sa Year of the Ox naman tayo, ingat sa mga skin diseases tulad ng skin rashes. Oak at 4. Kay Year of the Tiger naman tayo, spend wisely para maiwasan ang financial stress. Jade at 8. Kay Year of the Rabbit naman, set daily goals para maging productive. Copper at 2. Ito naman kay Year of the Dragon, maging efficient sa trabaho para di maubos ang energy mo. Coral at 1. Sa mga Year of the Snake naman mag-invest sa financial literacy para mas mapalago ang kayamanan. Turquoise at 3. Ito naman kay Year of the Horsey, mag-invest sa mga bagay na magpapalago sa kita. Brown at 5. Kay Year of the Ship naman tayo, spend quality time kasama ang mga seniors sa family. Ang kanilang payo ay mahalaga. Navy at 9. Kay Year of the Monkey naman tayo, dalhin ang winning mentality sa bawat challenges. Burgundy at 7. Sa Year of the Rooster naman, good things take time. Aralin at huwag magmadali sa negosyo. Lilac at 6. Sa Year of the Dog naman tayo, pag-ipunan ang retirement fund habang maaga pa. Mustard at 4. At Year of the Pig naman, gusto mo bang gumaan ang pakiramdam mo? Hug your partner. Siena at 2. Ako po, si Master Hans Kua. Paalala lang, ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan araw-araw ang horoscope of the day. Dito lang po sa It's a Beautiful Day!
Thank you, Master Hans Kua. Okay, alam na natin kung ano mangyayari, ha?
Ano?
Yung mga lucky colors and lucky numbers and the mga and the advice of Master Hans
Yes.
Kua. I wonder if he wears that during traveling.
I'm pretty sure he dresses really well everywhere he goes.
With the hair.
Oh, with the hair. Kasi I've seen him na here, hindi pa siya nakabihes before his taping. And then he's wearing a really nice shirt, jacket. Jacket! And yung hair niya talagang nakataas. But anyway, I always look forward to our horoscope of the day, and we'll see more of Master Hans tomorrow. But right now, we've got more stories for you guys after the break. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day, the Weather HQ segment. Palawan is once again in the global spotlight, recently named the world's best island to visit in 2025 by U.S. News and World Report. Known for its pristine waters, towering limestone cliffs, and rich biodiversity, this latest honor reaffirms the Philippines' last ecological frontier as a top international destination. But with recognition comes greater responsibility. Joining us today via Zoom is Maribel Bunyi, Department Head from the Provincial Government of Palawan, to talk about how the island is looking ahead, balancing tourism growth while protecting its natural heritage. Good morning, Maribel. Welcome to It's a Beautiful Day.
Good morning, Miss Anne. Good morning. Really, indeed, it's a beautiful day.
Miss Maribel, let's dive straight into the conversation. Palawan was just named the world's best island for 2025 by U.S. News and World Report. What does this achievement mean to the provincial government and the people of Palawan?
Well, recognitions like this they make us happy. We are elated by this recognition, considering that one of our top markets, actually our top markets are those coming from Americas. And this is a very good recognition. But as you said earlier, recognitions like this would also entail great responsibility or greater responsibility on the part of stakeholders like us, local government units, plus the businesses.
What role, Ms. Maribel, does the provincial government play in protecting yung natural beauty and appeal of the islands that actually led to this global recognition?
Well, by law, local government units are responsible for regulating the tourism industry. In our case, well, of course, local government units, in the case of municipalities, they do licensing and regulating the tourism industry at the local level. We are the only province in the Philippines that has this SEP law, or Strategic Environmental Plan, for the province of Palawan, which also serves as the framework for sustainable development. And with this hand in hand with the local government units looking into really regulating the tourism industry, we really have to, I think this is one way of protecting our advantage. You know, that it's our, well, at advantage, and we are really happy that our Creator God has really given us these natural destinations or natural features that we have, these natural resources. And so we are banking on these natural destinations, this sand, beach, etc., to generate arrivals of tourists.
Yes.
There are destinations that are man-made, but sir, you said that you have a business in El Nido. You know what El Nido and how El Nido looks like.
Yes.
And yes, and El Nido is like people or tourists are attracted because of its natural
Yes,
beauty.
Miss Maribel, it's the peak of the season now for tourists. It's in full swing. How are you preparing for the expected influx of tourists? Kasi, I mean, sure, every year naman, voted si Palawan as one of the best beaches in the world by different publications. So, padami ang turista.
Yes, we coordinate usually with our local government units and other agencies, the national government agencies, because you know it's really important to assure that our tourists get the best experience when they come to Palawan.
Yes po.
Yes po. So we coordinate with them and make sure that everything is in place.
Do you have a number, Miss Buni, of how many tourists you're expecting this season?
For our benchmark is 2019. That's pre-pandemic. No, we have 1.9 million recorded arrivals in 2019, and in 2022, at least we have a 99% already of that. And first quarter of 2025, meaning from January to March of 2025.
So you can actually achieve double digits this year.
Yeah, we hopefully, but we're just looking at like 15 to 20% increase. No, for the first quarter, we already recorded about 500,000, which means that's plus. No, we already have about 27% of the arrivals of last year. With tourists coming in this second quarter, because our seasonality would be like from October up to May or June yearly. No, that's where tourists come. Hopefully, we get more arrivals, and if not, I'm not sure if we can double that. But looking at the history, we double arrivals, but from like 3 or 5 years. No? So at least we're expecting 20% increase by the end of 2025.
Yeah, and you talked about the weather. Earlier.
Yes. So we're experiencing hotter weather, Ms. Maribel. What climate resilience measures have been put in place for both locals and the visitors?
Well, we are always reminding our tourists, no, in coordination also with our local government units, because that's where the real experiences are. We have coordinated with the respective DRRs and other agencies, and continuously reminding our tourists to to also be responsible. No, they also have to be safe. Take measures also that they take a lot of water. We constantly remind them that this weather, we experience a high heat index lately, so it really affect destinations like us. So we continue to remind our tourists also, plus our stakeholders, that to also remind their tourists of safety.
Ms. Maribel.
Safety is non-negotiable.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Ms. Maribel, what about ongoing initiatives to promote sustainable energy and reduce heat impacts in the tourism areas and public spaces? Meron na po kayong mga partners with the business community there regarding this?
There are a lot already of business establishments. I've mentioned about the SEP law. It's the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development. Before they have this zero carbon project, and it's of stakeholders or tourism-related establishments are encouraged to engage in renewable energy. Like for example, resorts and accommodation facilities, they do that, no? And in the province, I think, especially in Puerto Princesa, particularly in area of Sabang, there is a solar field or farm that produces energy in Sabang. I know in El Nido, of course, sir, there are a lot also of tourism establishments or facilities that engage in renewable energy.
Yes, we use a lot of solar there, and diba?
That is the way to go, actually, solar energy. You know, I wanted to go back to what we were talking about a while ago, the influx of tourists coming in, especially now, summer season, no? Padami ng padami yung mga tourists na nagpupunta sa Palawan. Aside from, making sure that they get the best experience when they visit the island, do you also have efforts to educate tourists on being environmentally responsible during their stay? Kasi hindi natin maiiwasan, no, Ferdi, when there are so many tourists coming in, nagkakaroon tayo ng problem with...
Maybe particularly the domestic market, I have to say, because, we still need to get educated with that. The foreigners, normally, they're used to it. They're used to, putting the trash where it's supposed to be and stuff like that. But, yeah.
So, meron ba tayong efforts, Miss Maribel, being done to, remind the tourists on how to be environmentally responsible?
Well, there are local ordinances in different areas that we really have to look into our wastes. No? To be environmentally responsible, as you said. So they do practice waste segregation and then constantly reminding them that, we cannot just put trash anywhere. Get back to us.
Yun din kasi ang nagiging problem, right? In different tourist destinations, the garbage disposal.
But Palawan is still super beautiful.
Yes, of course.
Well, it's always El Nido because earlier Sir Fred said that he has a small business or a business in El Nido. In your place in El Nido, you have an ordinance like the single-use plastic, right? So,
yes, madam. We do. We practice that.
Also, there's an ordinance actually of the on banning the single-use plastic. So, and then more and more people would also not only the tourists but even residents also. So imagine if we have that 1 million tourists being responsible and putting their trash anywhere or looking into the future of how will our environment be, considering that we are tagged as the last ecological frontier, And while we are not spared of what is happening now, we get affected by climate change also. So I think we also have to be responsible individually.
Well, I can't wait to go back, Anne.
I know. Magkikita tayo dyan, Miss Maribel. Thank you so much. I wish we had more time to extend our interesting conversation. But yes, we will see you there in Palawan. Thank you so much, Maribel Bunyi, Department Head from the Provincial Government of Palawan. Thank you for joining us this morning, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Indeed, it's a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Good morning.
Thank you, Ms. Maribel. Now, how do you wrap your head around the idea of someone just leaving you all of a sudden without a warning? Dating Coach V breaks down this new epidemic that has hit the public, ghosting, in today's Love Hacks. Take it away.
Love hacks, we got you. No need to be sad. Love hacks, we got you.
Good morning, loves. It's a beautiful day. Coach V here, your love life truth teller with a side of sass. On today's Love Hacks, we're talking about one of the laziest breakups of all time, ghosting. You thought it was going somewhere. Now you're refreshing your inbox like it owes you closure. So let's answer it loud and clear, my loves. How long till silence becomes your sign? And more importantly, why are people too scared to say, I'm not interested, like a decent human being. Let's hack this hunting. And
How many texts before you declare you've been ghosted? How many days of silence before they've turned into a ghost? Just genuinely curious about this ghosting epidemic and why so many men and women can't say one simple sentence like, I'm no longer interested. Especially men raised to lead, to make big life decisions, but they can't even send one breakup text. I've already declared mine a ghost about a week ago. I'm not even mad, just disappointed at how low the standard of communication has dropped. Wala na, DOA, dead on arrival.
DOA talaga, my love. Let's go deep. Nako, excited na ako sa reaction ni Ferds maya-maya na. But you know what? Let's go deep because ghosting isn't just a dating trend. Oy, it's an emotional immaturity dressed as self-preservation. Let's talk about science. According to a study by Lefebvre 2020, ghosting triggers the same neural pathways in the brain as physical pain. So your body literally thinks it's been injured. Kaya masakit mag-ghost, my loves. But why do people ghost? Unang-una, because silence is easier than accountability, di ba? Next is because some people treat connections like Food Panda. Order now, cancel later. And because emotional courage, rare. But loves, let's be clear. Ghosting may protect the ghost, but it leaves the hunted with questions that never get answered. Now, before we know the tips, the signs na ghosted ka na, let's ask Ferdi and Anne, how do you feel about ghosting?
Well, before we get into my reactions, I just gotta say, wow, you look amazing. And if anybody ghosts this, they need an exorcism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You cannot ghost someone as gorgeous as our dating coach.
Say it like
right
Master
there.
Hans.
Gorgeous!
Okay, Coach V.
Nag-ghost ka na ba, Ferdi? Ever?
I have to admit, I have some medyo malapit na naman. I promise Direct Kara, I'm gonna behave today. But
let it out, Ferdi.
But ghosting kasi is such a cop-out. It's such a... You don't have any, cojones with you're right. It's so easy just to say, hey, can we just be friends?
Yeah.
All right, mas maganda yan than I'm not interested. Let's just be friends.
Yeah, but
Why?
is it a Pinoy thing or is it a global thing, Coach V?
I think it's a global thing.
It is a global thing because
yeah.
just like what we've mentioned, it's easy to just not be held accountable.
Okay, there's two thoughts here. Ghosting, I'm not gonna text you, whatever, right? But people also complain about breaking up text breaks.
So which is better? For you to just walk out of a relationship or leave a lousy note?
Right.
Or a lousy text?
So it really depends upon the length of the relationship. If you've been together for 10 years, a lousy text, man, you don't deserve that. But if you've dated once or twice, then a message is acceptable because you don't have that much emotional attachment to each other.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get back to you later and ask you, baka naman you've been ghosted somebody in your life. So let's flip the switch. But how to know if you've been ghosted, my loves? Here are the checklist. Ito yun, meron si Coach Ving rule of 3. Number 1, kapag may 3 unanswered messages, not busy, not asleep, willfully ignoring you na yan. Number 2, scene zone ka na for 3 days. If they can post memes and stories but can't send, hey, I've been busy, you're not on their mind. And number 3, they promised to talk soon and didn't. Adults don't miss appointments. They cancel them with silence. And lastly, you feel the shift in your gut. You know it. That feeling, that's not paranoia, my love. That's pattern recognition. So, if they're still figuring things out, but you're the one hanging, you're not the partner, you are the placeholder. Before I go to my short story, let's go ask Ferdi and Anne. Baka naman once in your life, you've ghosted somebody, honestly.
Okay, yes, but...
So you have? I think so.
Without my lawyer present, okay? Because makulit eh. Like every 3-5 minutes.
Like,
It's like when
Text
you
na text
do
sa'yo. Where
text
are
ng
you?
text, and what I really dislike is
What?
the kumain ka na ba? I'm like, you're not my nanny.
Why don't
Okay.
you like that? I'm curious.
Every like lunch, dinner, even breakfast,
huwag naman
gising na, kumain
every
ka na ba? I'm like, I
mealtime.
don't have time to
Yes,
deal with this.
Okay, okay.
I'm an adult. You know, talk to me about something meaningful instead of just food. Do you have any other subjects? So, yes, I've ghosted and like ignored that message.
Ayun, napagod ka kasi.
But I said, you know, I don't think it's gonna work out. I think we're in a different plane.
So after you
Plane.
you said that you ignored him. You said that line muna to him, right? So
Yes.
it's not ghosting.
It's
You
not
made
really ghosting
abiso.
kasi, yeah.
Okay, good.
Because you were able to tell that person na ayaw mo na, you're not
Oo.
interested.
Am I being
Makulit
judged
lang
here?
siya.
Are you throwing shade at me?
You know, ganito talaga
Yeah,
sa
yeah.
love hacks. We're
Totoo.
always put on the spot.
And,
Correct.
and just like what my mom said, bawi-bawi lang. Sometimes we are ghosted, sometimes we
We're
ghost people
ghosting.
too.
So lahat tayo multo.
Lahat tayo
I have
guilty.
never ghosted anyone.
Ayan.
Really?
Ay, iba.
Seriously. I've never.
But how long have you been married?
Nagbilang. Hold on. I
Ay,
think 14.
nakalimutan.
14 years.
Yeah.
Uso ba bang texting dati?
Oo naman, meron naman ako. Grabe kasi
Ay, grabe kayo,
O, sana yung Nokia phone. May texting na nun.
To the whole of the
Pero, yeah,
Philippines, if you've been ghosted by Anne, she does not remember it. Please be in touch with her at Voice Talent Tita.
Well,
Okay?
I think ghosting is more
I
prevalent
would
now.
always write a letter. Hindi texting eh. Kasi even before the texting trend, people wrote letters. Handwritten letters.
So you actually did ghost.
Yeah,
you
so I didn't ghost.
Okay.
I told them na, okay, it won't
Alright.
work out.
Hindi daw talaga ng ghost si Anne.
Hindi talaga.
Sana all, katulad ni Anne. Let me share something, love, to be serious lang. I once had this coaching client. She and her husband went through years of IVF. Every injection, every hospital visit, every heartbreak. Ibig sabihin, they were really trying to have a baby. Finally, they had the baby. She gave birth, emergency C-section, baby in NICU, and guess what? He left.
What?
Ghosted his own family, said I needed space, and never came back. Because some people, my love, don't just ghost flings. They ghost their responsibilities too. Now, if you're the one being ghosted, here's some hacks for you. Number 1, declare emotional death early. 3 days, 3 messages, 1 gut feeling, that's already your certificate of disconnection. 2, don't chase clarity from cowards. People who ghost are not deep, they are avoidant. You're not the one who lacked worth, they just lacked the words. And 3, mute and move, unfollow, block. Reclaim your algorithm, your energy, and your peace. If you're the one thinking about ghosting, grow up, speak up, and own your exit. Because how you leave someone says everything about how you love them, diba? If it's so easy for you to leave somebody, that means maybe you've never loved them. Ghosting isn't protecting them. It's emotional littering, living your mess in someone else's life. So eto na, my loves. In conclusion, ghosting isn't just poor etiquette. Lack of emotional hygiene siya. In a world craving of real connection, the bravest thing we can do is finish our sentences even if it sounded like goodbye. That's it for today, loves. This is Coach V giving you real talk about real love. If someone ghosted you, you are not invisible. You are not unworthy. You just dodged someone emotionally unqualified. DM me at Dating Coach V. Let's ghost-proof your love life together and join me again tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Love you.
You know, we were talking about this with Attorney Karen yesterday, and we were asking her, meron bang legal implications if
Of
someone
ghosting.
ghosts you?
Yes.
Can you actually sue them? Siguro when you're married and that guy walks out of, like your client, diba? He just walked out of his responsibilities, then maybe you can actually sue that person.
Yes, but just leave the ghosting to either Halloween or to exorcism.
Yeah.
Oh. So since we don't like ghosting, can we make a promise that we're not gonna ghost people?
So
I've never ghosted people.
What's the flip side of ghosting? What's the other word for not ghosting?
Well, it's
Being honest.
accountability.
Yeah,
Just saying
accountability,
it
being
even
honest.
if it hurts.
Love bombing.
Love bombing?
I
Really?
love that.
And And that is for another episode of Love Hacks.
I love it. Love bombing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But thank you so much, Coach V, for joining us today. Another interesting topic, and we are looking forward to tomorrow's topic. Let's see kung love bombing tayo tomorrow. But that is it for us this Wednesday, May 21st. I'm Asis-Carilo. Make the rest of your day unforgettable by choosing joy, spreading kindness, and packing your own sunshine.
And I'm Ferdi, Salvador. Have a great day ahead. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on It's a Beautiful Day!